Hello, hello. Welcome back to A Course in Miracles. I'm Tomas Garza. And well, every time I say this, the video winds up being long, but I'm going to say this again today, that there's a very succinct explanation for the idea that we're going to cover in this video. So this could be relatively short and relatively straightforward. I've, of course, said that in the past and gone on to wax poetic with the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, of course. Yes. So that may or may not happen here. The lesson that we're talking about is, let's just jump right into it here today. It's lesson 207 in the workbook for students. Now we're in the midst of a review period, and remember that the overarching theme for this review period and this lifetime, how about? Yeah, that's a suggestion, right? Is I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. This is the theme, it is true. And this is the foundational centerpiece of this period of review. Now, as we've seen in the workbook, each period of review, after every 20, 30 lessons or so, there's a review period with a slightly different focus. Now, the idea behind all of this is to teach us, to help us integrate into the very fabric of our being where it already is. We're simply, by saying integrate it in, we're saying realize it's already there and drop all your resistance to it. Just that, right? So what we're doing is we're taking this repeat practice and learning. It's a learning device, exactly like you may have had at school or university, where you review material that you've covered previously. Now, that is in preparation for a final exam. There is no final exam here in this course, which is a happy thing, because I think if there were, people would never do it, right? Yeah, it's not that way. So what happens if you don't do the lesson? Well, yeah, really nothing. Right? Nothing happens. However, every moment that we choose not to learn the truth of who we really are, to choose to accept that, choose to apply this by extending love in our lives, we delay our experience of union with God. We put off the beautiful for what? For more suffering. Yeah. I mean, it's very true and honest that every time we put it off, that's what we do. Now, along the way, we'll have days where we forget, where it doesn't really feel like we're not a body, because we may have aches and pains. You might actually have a physical illness right now, today, that you're working with, that you're dealing with. Yeah, I mean, or someone you know is severely physically ill, right? That could be happening right now to you in your life. We're encouraged, nevertheless, no matter what the external circumstances appear to show us, to sit with the truth of this idea. I am not a body. I am free, for I am still as God created me. And we sit with that. Rinse, repeat. I mean, really, this is rinse, repeat. And the first time that I went through the workbook, this particular idea really stuck for me. It just really, really deeply resonated. And there's a reason why Jesus has us do this for 20 consecutive lessons, so that it's automatic in our mind and we can reach for it. Just like reaching for the light. Anytime. It's ingraining it into our minds. So lesson 207, the review idea, is lesson 187. I bless the world because I bless myself. So let's talk about this. Are we blessing ourselves? Are we blessing the world? Well, yes. When you bless yourself, and the workbook shares with us some language that will help us understand exactly what's meant by that. When you bless yourself, you bless the whole world, because there's no separation of any kind at all. No separation. Blessing yourself is blessing the entire world. Blessing the entire world is blessing yourself. Same. Foundationally, ultimately the same, no matter what someone may be posting on Facebook or Twitter today. It is the same. That's a process for us to accept that, isn't it? But that's what A Course in Miracles is all about. So the workbook reads, and I'll read this verbatim because it's very, very helpful for our understanding here. And that's: God's blessing shines upon me from within my heart, where he abides. I need but turn to him, and every sorrow melts away as I accept his boundless love for me. It's this turning to God, asking for help, asking for love, yeah, for accepting, allowing the boundless love of God to show up in your life and to run the show. Allowing all of this, accepting all of this, is profoundly blessing yourself. When you do this, you bless yourself. When you bless yourself, you bless every single living thing. When people say, when Jesus says, when your guides say, we're all one, they mean simply that. We're all one. They don't mean that we're 8 billion. They don't mean that we're 8 billion plus countless other trillion, gajillion insects, fish, other creatures with whom we share this planet. It's not what is meant. One is one. When you bless yourself, you bless the entire world. Nothing more, nothing less, period. End of discussion, as y'all might say. And yeah, and that's it in all its simplicity. I want to spend a couple minutes talking about simplicity here on the spiritual path, because you are seeing, without question, that it is very simple. Truth, with a capital T, is very simple. It's disarmingly simple. Disarming, I love this word. It's disarming to the ego, who is always at arms. The ego is constantly willing and ready to do battle, to fight, to attack. The Course refers to thoughts as ego-based thoughts as attack thoughts, because perceiving a separation, there's me, there's you, us then, the other side of the aisle. Right? I mean, we're honestly behaving no differently than a dog that you put in a fenced enclosure. What's the dog going to do? Claim the fenced enclosure for itself and define and defend that personal territory against all comers, real and imagined. We're really the same way when we identify with the ego. Spirituality offers a simple way out. It's simple. However, we say in the world it's not easy because it's a process that we have to work on. Now, it is technically possible to have a blinding flash of light and have all suffering disappear. Yes, that's possible. However, for most of us, what's going to happen is we're going to peel the layers away one at a time. There will be days where you feel absolutely attuned to this material and on top of the world, beautiful, powerful, you're getting it, feels like. And then 5 minutes later, something will happen that will trigger a surge of rage, of anger. And you may wonder, you may find yourself wondering, well, where did this come from? Everything was so beautiful. Well, most of us have this happen all the time. It's like a yo-yo. It's up, down, up, down. And with spiritual practice, what we can do is better recognize the moments when we're choosing fear. We recognize the feelings such as fear, grief, loss, pain, frustration, depression, sadness. The list goes on and on. We've made a big, long, exhaustive list of those words, right? When we recognize that emotion that is not happiness, we're able, with spiritual practice, to reach for the light. Yeah, we're able to choose love. We're able to call on the Holy Spirit for help. Or if you have another guide, again, A Course in Miracles is not an exclusive club. Thank God. We don't need another one of those in the world. So whatever spiritual tradition you practice, this material is directly applicable, right? Spirituality in general gives us things and tools to work on so that we can reach for the light. So ask your guides. And we have free will here in the world. It has not been taken away from us and never will be. So what we see is that non-physical guides, right, if you have them, will never intervene and dangle you like a puppet on a string. That does not happen. You have free will and you have to ask for help. What happens when you ask for help? Well, you're recognizing that you can't do it all on your own. In other words, you're recognizing that the ego with which you're identifying doesn't know what to do, and it doesn't. It truly doesn't, has no clue. It is utterly wandering in the dark, clueless, with access to every light switch that's ever been invented and an infinite power source that refuses to flip the switch. Well, it'll realize it never was there. And it's not. It's not. This is a process of our gradually awakening to that. And spirituality is the tool that enables us to do that. So whatever form your practice takes, I invite you to lean into that. Really, truly, this is the best offering that you can make. Whatever your practice looks like, when you bless yourself, right? When you get out of your own way and ask for help, as the workbook says here in today's lesson, you bless the entire world. It is the most active and most powerful thing you can do. Isn't that fun? That the most active thing that we can do is make a decision to get out of our own way and allow what is to simply be. You've got masculine and feminine totally intertwined right there. One. Yeah, we've got the action and the allowing. It's simple. It's simple. We have only to remember to do it in the present moment. And then we have only to remember to do it again and again and again and again until it becomes ingrained, like any habit. Yeah. Like any habit, it becomes ingrained, and then we simply get to a point where we're automatically forgiving, we're automatically extending love, and we're doing what the Course suggests that we do, which is use every single experience that we have as an opportunity for awakening, because it is. It truly is. All right. Thank you for joining me here today, and we will see you again.